Every hour above Ethiopia, cargo aircraft and long-haul passenger jets crisscross the Horn of Africa, carrying the world's most time-sensitive goods between continents. Increasingly, these flights are no longer simply passing through Ethiopian airspace. They are converging here to land, transfer, and connect. Addis Ababa has quietly emerged as one of Africa's most strategic aviation crossroads, a point where global routes intersect and where saving minutes in transit can translate into millions in economic value. Yet aviation operates by an unbreakable rule. A hub is only as strong as the infrastructure that supports it, and Ethiopia's primary gateway is approaching its limits. Runways are under mounting pressure, terminals are straining under congestion, and expansion is constrained by geography and time. When a nation's global connectivity depends on a single airport, capacity constraints stop being a logistical inconvenience and become a strategic risk. Ethiopia has therefore chosen not to rely on incremental upgrades, but to pursue a decisive reset, one that could redefine aviation in East Africa. A completely new hub is now being planned, described as the largest aviation infrastructure project in Africa's history, and designed on a scale the continent has rarely attempted. Today, let's delve into the Bishoftu International Airport megaproject, an aviation development of historic scale, and Ethiopia's strategic push to become Africa's air gatekeeper. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button and like this video, as it's the best way to support this channel. The Bishoftu International Airport project is Ethiopia's plan to build a completely new aviation gateway near Bishoftu, about 45 kilometers southeast of Addis Ababa, the nation's capital, positioned in the Horn of Africa at one of the most strategic crossroads on the world map. Ethiopia sits between major global regions. To the north and west lies Europe, to the east, the Middle East and Asia, and to the south, the rapidly growing markets of Africa. Addis Ababa already functions as a natural connecting point on these routes, and the new airport is being designed from the ground up to expand that advantage, serving as a next-generation hub for both passenger travel and high-volume cargo logistics. That urgency comes from a growing constraint at the heart of Ethiopia's success. Addis Ababa Bole International Airport is the backbone of Ethiopian Airlines' global rise and one of Africa's most important transit hubs, but it is approaching its operational ceiling. As passenger numbers rise and cargo demand expands, the airport faces mounting runway pressure, peak hour congestion, limited aircraft parking space, and increasingly tight terminal capacity. Even with efficient scheduling, there is a point where a hub can no longer scale because physical infrastructure cannot stretch indefinitely. And when the country's global links depend heavily on a single airport, congestion becomes a strategic risk that can slow the entire economy. Bishoftu is therefore not a prestige project, but a continuity strategy. In modern aviation, hubs determine influence. They control regional connectivity, shape trade flows, attract investment, and position nations as gateways for commerce. Bishoftu is Ethiopia's attempt to protect its hub advantage and expand it, transforming a fast-growing network into a long-term continental platform and reinforcing Ethiopia's role as one of Africa's most important global connectors. This ambition is being translated into a project scope that goes far beyond constructing a larger terminal. The Bishoftu International Airport development is planned as a full hub-scale aviation system, an airport designed not merely to relieve Addis Ababa, but to operate as one of the world's major gateways. The long-term master plan targets up to 110 million passengers per year, supported by a layout that includes 4 runways to maximize aircraft movements, reduce peak hour congestion, and ensure operational resilience even during maintenance or disruptions. On the ground, the scale is equally significant. The airport is expected to include extensive taxiway networks, large aprons, and capacity for roughly 270 aircraft parking stands, allowing it to handle dense waves of wide-body passenger flights, alongside dedicated freighter operations. Passenger facilities are envisioned as high-throughput terminal complexes built for fast transfers, modern security screening, immigration processing, and baggage handling systems designed to support short connection windows, which are essential for hub performance. Cargo is not an add-on. It is a foundational pillar of the master plan, with dedicated freight terminals, logistics zones, warehouse infrastructure, and cold chain capabilities suited for perishables and pharmaceuticals. Crucially, the project scope extends beyond aviation infrastructure alone, incorporating an airport city ecosystem of commercial services, hospitality, support facilities, and industrial logistics parks. In effect, this is not simply an airport project, it is the creation of a future-proof national gateway and economic corridor at continental scale. The most strategic element of this entire plan is what happens outside the airport boundary. Alongside the aviation infrastructure, the development is expected to catalyze an aerotropolis, a large-scale commercial and logistics district designed to turn the airport into more than a place where flights arrive and depart. In successful global hubs, the airport becomes the nucleus of a wider economic zone, a high-efficiency environment where cargo, services, talent, and capital cluster because proximity saves time, and time drives profit. For Bishoftu, the airport city concept signals a deliberate effort to build a complete ecosystem around air connectivity. That includes logistics parks and freight support industries, high-capacity warehousing, distribution, and consolidation centers, cold chain facilities for exports, and the business services that keep cargo moving without delay. On the passenger side, it typically involves hotels, conference and exhibition venues, retail zones, and office districts that can host global business activity right at the gateway. Over time, this kind of development can also attract light manufacturing and high-value industries that depend on rapid international shipping. This is why the airport city is often described as the hidden megaproject within the megaproject. It is designed to multiply the airport's impact, creating jobs, generating investment, and turning connectivity into a long-term economic engine that extends far beyond the terminal. Delivering a hub of this scale requires not only engineering capacity, but a financing structure capable of sustaining a multi-year build with complex phases. The Bishoftu International Airport megaproject is widely reported at an estimated total cost of $12.5 billion, a figure that reflects far more than terminal construction alone. It covers the full foundation of a global hub, runway systems, taxiways and aprons, navigation and air traffic infrastructure, cargo zones, utilities and fuel systems, ground access corridors, and the broader enabling works needed to operate an airport city ecosystem at industrial scale. To fund an undertaking of this magnitude, Ethiopia is pursuing a blended model rather than relying solely on state budgets. Reports indicate Ethiopian Airlines is expected to contribute roughly 30%, with the remaining share financed through lenders and development partners, an approach designed to spread risk while keeping the project aligned with the airline's long-term hub strategy. The African Development Bank has also been linked to early financing support and coordination, underscoring the project's regional significance. Construction of the mega airport formally moved into action on the 10th of January, 2026, following an official groundbreaking ceremony. The airport is expected to be developed in phases, with an often cited target for major completion around 2030, before expanding toward its ultimate capacity in later stages. A megaproject of this scale is never defined only by its vision. It is defined by the risks it must overcome. From an engineering perspective, delivering a new hub airport requires massive earthworks, complex runway construction, high-load pavements, drainage systems, and resilient utilities that can handle uninterrupted operations. Supply chain reliability becomes critical as well. Securing cement, steel, asphalt, specialized equipment, and skilled labor at the pace demanded by a multi-year build is a challenge even in mature economies. Beyond construction, systems integration introduces another layer of risk: air traffic control technologies, navigation aids, communications networks, fuel storage. and power infrastructure must work flawlessly together, because failures in any one area can compromise the entire operation. Alongside these technical hurdles are the unavoidable social and political controversies that follow major infrastructure development. Large airport projects often require extensive land acquisition, resettlement planning, and environmental impact management, all of which can generate resistance if communities feel excluded or undercompensated. Financial scrutiny is also inevitable, especially when forecasts are ambitious, and the risk of cost overruns or schedule delays is real. In projects positioned as national symbols, transparency and accountability become as important as engineering execution. Ultimately, the success of Bishoftu will depend not only on building runways and terminals, but on sustaining public trust, managing disruption, and delivering the promised economic value without compromising social stability. If Bishoftu is delivered as envisioned, it could mark a turning point not only for Ethiopia's aviation sector, but for Africa's global connectivity. The best-case outcome is clear: a purpose-built hub that expands capacity for passengers and cargo, strengthens Ethiopian Airlines' network advantage, and anchors a wider airport city economy that attracts investment, jobs, and trade. Yet the path forward will be shaped by execution. Financing must remain stable, construction must stay disciplined, and demand projections must translate into real traffic in an industry where competition between hubs is intense. If delays, overruns, or political disruptions weaken momentum, the project could struggle to achieve its full potential. Ultimately, Bishoftu is more than an airport. It is a long-term national strategy. Its success would position Ethiopia as a primary gateway for the continent, shaping routes, logistics flows, and regional influence for decades to come.